Hello everyone, Colleen Patrick-Goudreau here, vegan author and animal advocate, and I hope you're all having a lovely day. Let me know if the connection is good. It is a beautiful day here in Northern California, and if you're interested in checking out my work, you can go to joyfulvegan.com. You can get your own Joyful Vegan starter guide, and hopefully we'll answer at least the initial questions you have about being vegan. And if you need more and want more, of course, you can go check out my books, The Joy of Vegan Baking, The Vegan Table, Color Me Vegan, Vegan's Daily Companion, and the 30-Day Vegan Challenge. And you can all write that down there just in case people didn't hear me. And it was really funny. Yesterday, someone was on my video and said, "I'd love to listen to you speak. I wish you did a podcast." And like, I've been doing a podcast for 12 years. So if you want to listen to me speak, you can go check out my podcast. Food for Thought on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, wherever you listen to podcasts. And what else? Yeah, so joyfulvegan.com. And hi, everybody. Let me know where you're from and where you're at right now, how you're doing, and what your questions are. Start gathering your questions. We're about to have a Q&A. I'm very excited about today. My girlfriends are coming over. We're going to go on a hike. We're going to gather greenery. Not taking it from wildlife. We're going to gather some greenery that's fallen on the trails, and we're going to come back and make Christmas wreaths to hang on our doors. I've got some rosemary I'm going to cut. They've got some branches that they're going to cut from their little bushes, and then we're going to make wreaths, and then we're going to cook, and we're going to have spiked cocoa, and we're just going to have lots of merriment because it is the day after Thanksgiving, or 2 days after Thanksgiving. It's the weekend after Thanksgiving, which is just such an exciting time. It's the threshold into something new, into a new season, and into the light getting shorter, our days getting shorter, and I love adding sparkly lights to my home. So I'm excited about decorating, and I've already started. So again, Colleen Patrick-Goudreau here, and I want to know where you're from, where you are, and what your questions are about veganism, and why I titled this the way I did. I will tell you in a moment. Hi, Kara. On Thanksgiving, our very good friend Michael cooked the entire meal. I brought a salad, and Christy brought her homemade bread, but he had 3 different roasts, 2 of which were from the Butcher's Son, which is a vegan butchery here in Berkeley, California. Well, there in Berkeley, California. I'm in Oakland. And then he also had a tofurkey. So he had 3 different roasts, vegan roasts. He had mashed potatoes, green bean casserole, corn that was like laced with garlic. He had roasted garlic as a spread for our bread, cranberries, and turnips. I feel like I'm missing something. It's like a sweet potato casserole as well. So it was absolutely delicious. And then we had pumpkin pie for dessert. Hi, Artemis. You're so sweet. Thank you. Hello, Amy from Boulder. Hi, Susan from High Point, North Carolina. Where are you, Artemis? Hey, Greg from El Paso, of course. Janelle in Vancouver. And what did you guys eat for Thanksgiving? Very sweet. So yes, we had a lovely Thanksgiving, and I've already started decorating with the Christmas decorations. We have to get a little tree. I do get a little tree every year, and then we just we put it out to the wildlife here, but we just get a small tree. I've got lots of ornaments that I've been collecting over the 100 years I've been on Earth. I'm actually 100. I'm 100. This is what vegan looks like at 100. And I've been collecting ornaments for a long time. One of my Christmas trees is just all animal ornaments. I've been collecting animal ornaments for a long time. Then we have one tree devoted to arts and literature. So we have musical instruments, and I have Shakespeare and Queen Elizabeth and little bits of poetry. So I like Christmas. I do like the holidays. I like every holiday. I like every season. I love the change of seasons, even though people don't think we have a change of seasons in Northern California, and you'd be wrong to think that. We absolutely do. It's going to rain tomorrow. This is our rainy season. Very excited about that. But today it is a beautiful day, and I'm very excited about that as well. I get very excited about a lot of things. I do. Kara says the tofurkey turkey was too expensive, so you got the ham. I haven't had the tofurkey ham. Is it like a roast? I'm sick, if you can't tell. I'm battling a cold, so that's why I sound like this, and I may cough throughout. Susan said her tree is full of animals as well. Hey, Marie-Eve in Montreal. And yes, Janelle, sorry. Of course, your Thanksgiving was last month. in Canada, and Artemis is in New York City. So one thing that's been coming up a lot, I just wanted to share with you my thoughts about this, just because it's been coming up a lot more, and I saw it yesterday on a post about me and some other fellow authors. I did a Q&A. I was presenting at a screening of Cowspiracy last weekend, and it was really funny because the person who was introducing me said, "Oh, you know, I'm introducing you as vegan," and we did the whole write-up as vegan, but then my friend tipped me off saying, "No, you don't say vegan anymore, you say plant-based. So is that right?" And I said, "No, I'm vegan. You can call me vegan. I have nothing to apologize for about being vegan, and I'm not plant-based." And then I saw there was a post about blah, 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 other plant-based authors like myself, and I was included. This person was saying that. And I thought, I'm not plant-based. Like, I'm not a plant-based author. I've never been a plant-based author. I never will be a plant-based author. That's just not who I am. And I just want to claim that I am vegan, and vegan means something, and it does matter to me. I don't care what anybody calls themselves. Like, everybody can call themselves whatever they want. We do tend to like labels, don't we? We do tend to like the compartments we put ourselves in. We do like to differentiate ourselves one from another. But for me, I'm vegan, and vegan means something. I didn't know what vegan was, even when I became vegan. I didn't know what it meant. I just knew that I didn't want to contribute to violence against animals, and I was when I was eating the eggs and the milk that I was still eating before I became vegan, because I was vegetarian first. And then I was like, oh, I don't want to be part of this. And then I was like, I'm vegan? Like, there's just this word. Like, there was this word called vegan, which meant I'm going to do everything I can in my life to not contribute to cruelty. And that's one of the reasons why I use the word compassionate more than vegan, even, because I was a compassionate person before I was vegan, but I was certainly blocked. It was certainly conditional compassion. It was limited compassion, because it wasn't extending my compassion to everyone. But I didn't know that I was contributing to cruelty. It's pretty well hidden from us. So I became this thing called vegan, which for me just means that I removed those blocks to the compassion that had already been inside of me. The compassion was already there. It was just blocked. So in becoming vegan, those blocks just got removed. And it was just like, oh, cool. Like, I don't have to do anything that hurts anybody on purpose. So that's what's so fascinating to me, is like, we as human beings, I mean, we do seek words and create words that express what it is that we're trying to convey, and vegan just happens to be that word. Now, that word gets used in a lot of different ways. It gets used incorrectly. I can't control that. It gets used in ways that aren't accurate, and certainly veganism gets characterized in ways that are not, for me, what veganism is about. Vegan is not something I wanted to become. I didn't want to become vegan. Like, I didn't seek to become vegan. Like, that wasn't a goal that I was trying to attain. I was trying to just be as compassionate as possible and not hurt anybody and not contribute to the most violent industry on the planet, which is the slaughter industry. It's characterized by killing. It is the most violent industry on the planet. So what I wanted to do was be the most compassionate that I could be, and vegan was this thing that enabled me to do that. So that's why I say all the time that being vegan is not an end in itself; it's a means to an end, and that end is unconditional compassion. So that's very different than plant-based. Which, if you're plant-based, that's fine. I don't care what anybody calls themselves. I just want to make sure that I'm called vegan because that's what I am, or just doing my best to be compassionate. But plant-based, means something very different too, and that's great. We seek out words to differentiate ourselves from another, and it's just really interesting how it's happening now that we're not supposed to say the word vegan, because people are still they have a hard time with the word vegan because it tends to be more of an ideology than a diet. Well, yeah, I mean, it does say more than just a diet, so that's why we need to have that word, and I'm not going to change what I call myself because there's a buzzword that's more popular. So, I mean, I'll use the word plant-based when I'm talking about a meal, because I'm not plant-based. I'm actually flesh-based, not plant-based. my meals will be plant-based, and so I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And if someone wants to be called that, I'll call them plant-based, but I'm not, and I just wanted to make that clear because there's a difference. Andrea says, do you apply veganism with shoes, cosmetics? I applied in my diet, but I haven't applied it yet in all aspects. Yes, of course, Andrea. So I think that's the thing also that differentiates veganism from plant-based, right? Is that it is an ethic. I don't like to say it's an ideology because I don't live by ideology. I live by principle. I live by values, and I live by ethics. So for me, that's what it's about. And that's the difference between, what we've decided vegan is and plant-based is. And so plant-based is for those people who say I'm not consuming anything diet-wise that comes from an animal, but they may still, wear leather, wear wool, wear fur, etc. And so then there's like all the vegan people who cry about all of, and moan and yell at those people who call themselves plant-based, but not, okay, fine. Well, they're not there yet. They haven't made the connection yet. I certainly did not make the connection. I was wearing leather when I called myself vegetarian. That's what happens on this journey. We are slow to learn, and we are conditioned to think otherwise. So certainly once I realized that I did not want to consume the products that were the results of this violent industry, it also extended to everything else. And that's what happens when you start on this journey. That's why it's so beautiful when people start with their diet before they even get to all of the other aspects, is that's what happens. Your eyes become open and your heart becomes open. When you're still entrenched in the habits that are animal-based, you can't see all the other ways in which you're contributing to cruelty because you're one of the contributors. So when you stop participating in one aspect of that exploitation, you can relax a little because you don't have to, you're not one of the contributors. And so then you go, oh, what else is going on here? Like, I'm open enough to tell, like, to look, I'm willing to bear witness. And that's what happens when people start on this journey. That's why I always say, like, I don't care where you are in this journey. I want to help you uncover the blocks that are, to the compassion that's already inside of you. And we all are on this journey. I am not better than anybody else. I'm just better than I used to be. And you're not better than anybody else. You're better than you used to be. And that's all we need to compare ourselves to is how can we be the best people we can be, being the most compassionate people we can be. It's not a race. I'm not interested in being a martyr. I have no desire to be a martyr because most martyrs I know are dead. So I don't want to be a martyr. I've got living to do and I've got work to do. So I'm not looking to be a martyr. And if anyone else is looking to be a martyr, watch your back because martyrs don't live long. Thank you, Greg. It was wonderful to be in El Paso. And that wasn't the talk I was referring to, by the way. Janelle says, here's my question. Do you think it's better to choose a roommate who's a fellow vegan and you don't have to explain your lifestyle to, or to choose a roommate that is omni but veg curious and help them learn the vegan lifestyle through living with me? So I think, one of the things I talk about when I talk about, my husband, people say, was he vegan when you met? And my answer is no, I wasn't vegan when we met. I was just vegetarian, but I was certainly, on the path already and had bore witness before he had. But people say, would you be with him if he weren't vegan? I wouldn't be with him if he weren't open and kind and compassionate and clever and intelligent and funny and all of those things. I would encourage you to choose a roommate based on the qualities that you really appreciate in the person, and vegan or not, because vegan doesn't determine a person's character. It is there's so many other like I'm vegan because I was open. My husband's vegan because he was open. It was the openness that led me to becoming vegan. It was the compassion that led me to becoming vegan. So I know plenty of people who are vegan who aren't compassionate, who aren't at least extending that into all areas of their life. So just because someone's vegan doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be compatible with you. So I would really encourage you to choose compatibility and figure out what those qualities are that you really like in a person. And now I will say, certainly in terms of you both agreeing to the rules, and someone who's vegan and keeping a vegan house is going to be more conducive to the same rules that you would appreciate, but you don't know that. You don't know. I mean, I have many friends who are vegetarian or vegan and their partner's not, and the partner has totally agreed to having a vegan home or a vegetarian home. So so don't underestimate the person who's not vegan. If it comes down to qualities and characteristics that you really admire in that person, I would go with the person, and that might be the vegan. That's awesome. That might be the vegan, and that's going to be fantastic. But that's my advice to you. I hope that helps. So let me go back because there was a bunch of questions. Greg made the gravy with homemade cashew cream instead of flour to thicken. That's awesome. Thank you, Luciana. Yeah. I'm sorry, Luciana, that's, yeah. Luckily, I mean, I did go on a long walk yesterday, but I haven't been able to go on my runs and hikes, so it's a little annoying, but I'm excited to go on a little hike today. Raylene says my vegan cheesecake recipe is always a hit on Thanksgiving. I love that. I haven't made that in a long time. I need to make that. Leon says we used a Gardein breaded turkey cutlets and all the traditional sides, cornbread dressing, green bean casserole, mashed potatoes, all vegan, all amazing. I wanted the tofurkey ham. I really want mashed potatoes right now. I made a potato leek soup last night because I really wanted more potatoes. I want more mashed potatoes right now. Yes, and so Janelle understands. Virginia says it makes sound like you're made of plants. Exactly, Virginia. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not made of plants. I'm animal based. So technically, I'm animal based because I'm not mineral based. And I'm not plant-based, so technically I'm vegan and I'm animal-based. That would be more accurate. That would be more accurate. Kara, I became vegan in 1999. I was vegetarian from about 1989, that's probably not true. I mean, I started on the path when I was like in 1989, 1990, and then kind of became vegetarian full on a few years after that, and then vegan in 1999. So that is 18 years now, right? Yeah, it's like 18, 19 years. Rip says you help make the world better. Well, I hope. I mean, thanks for listening, because, you know, it's all thanks to you who's listening. If you weren't listening, then my message wouldn't be able to get out there. So thank you. And that's what it is. It's not because, like, it's so that people have a problem with the word vegan, maybe because we haven't been characterizing vegan very well. Now, I'm not going to be able to convince everyone who already has their way of doing things, and they think this is the right way, and they think, I mean, everyone has a different approach and a different perspective on how to go about helping animals. I don't agree with everyone. I don't disagree with everyone. There is a spectrum. I've changed my mind over the years. There's lots of different ways to go about it. But for me, all I can do is worry about myself and the kind of advocacy that I promote and the kind of advocacy that I'm involved in. For me, maybe the problem isn't that people have a problem with the word vegan and we should change the word vegan. Maybe we should do a better job at characterizing what vegan means. And that's what I get frustrated by, is that people say, yeah, people are still scared of the word vegan, so, you know, so let's use the word plant-based. No, let's actually make vegan more normal. And it's, you know, it's fine if another word comes up, like, this is what language does. Words change. Words change with generations. Words change over time. People get tired of words. Words take on new meaning. Words become explosive. Words become loaded. Like, things, like, words change. That's okay. If the word vegan goes away and there's another word and a better word to characterize the intention to live as compassionately as possible by not creating harm and not contributing to violence against animals, then I'd be open to that word. But so far, there hasn't been a word that has come up that has been better. Plant-based isn't it. Plant-based means something specific. It doesn't mean that. So again, plant-based means something, and that's great for those for whom it works. But until there's a better word, we've got the word vegan, and I'm using it, and it means something to the world when we say it, and so I'm proud of it. And so I would rather continue doing the best I can to normalize vegan and to characterize it in a positive, joyful way, which is what I've done my whole career. Marie Eve says, I love the compassionate approach. I also I also like to use Esther approved. Oh, that's cute. Yeah, that's cute. And that's why I use the word compassionate. So one of the so the book I'm working on right now, that I'm really excited about, and I mean, it will I'll talk more about it another time, but it's really about compassion, and I'll talk more about that when it's a done deal. But it's about compassion, and so compassionate is a word that I use interchangeably with vegan, but that's also not enough, because vegan means something specific. Compassionate means, there's times where compassionate can be interchangeable with the word vegan, and there's times that it doesn't work. I think it's becoming a lot more normalized. I agree, Raylene. Katafer, is that how you say your name? I love that you're passionate and agree that how we talk about things matters just as much as the other parts. I hope you feel better. Thank you. Greg says the term plant-based has become meaningless. A new dairy campaign says that cow's milk is plant-based because cows eat plants. For sure. Yeah. And that's going to happen too. People are going to co-opt words. So we constantly change and move with the times and modify and correct, I mean, that's what we do. So we do what's right, and words are going to be co-opted too, because they become trendy. And I've never been trendy. I've never been someone who follows trends, and that's one of the reasons I just get annoyed when someone calls me plant-based. And again, it was done innocently, and no one was, I'm certain it wasn't done with any animosity at all, but I'm not plant-based, and I'm not a plant-based author, and it's not who I am. It's not what I do. Amy Katz, I'm vegan too, animals, but I'm also comfortable with vegan. It's just labels. What did you say before that, Marie-Eve? Oh, Esther, I see. Yeah. And, I use them interchangeably too. I mean, there's times where I say, I don't do it. I do it sometimes, because again, it depends on the context and on the situation and on the person and on the interaction. But there's times where I say to someone right away, I'll say oh, I'm vegetarian. And very quickly after that, I'll say vegan, or I'll say vegetarian, and they'll say oh, are you vegan or vegetarian? And I'll say, oh, no, vegan. So it's kind of I still use vegetarian kind of as a blanket term, not as a I am vegetarian and I eat animals, flesh or fluids, versus vegan and not eating flesh or fluids. I'll just sometimes use vegetarian as a blanket term to kind of rope them in with a common term that they can really understand. And vegan has become so common and so embraced, in my opinion, that people usually do go, oh, are you vegetarian or are you vegan? People get the difference. Some people don't. We're still raising awareness on that front, but sometimes I'll say vegetarian, and then so it depends on the context too. And like I said, sometimes I'll say plant-based when I'm talking about the food, but not usually when I'm talking about people. Do you apply veganism with shoes, Andrea? Oh, I think I answered that already. Yes. So yes. And then okay, we already answered that. So more on going on. You're welcome, Janelle. I hope that helps. Let me know what happens. And hi, Dorian. I don't know if you're still there, but hi, Dorian. Next time you come to my house, Dorian, you have to play with the kitties because they wanted to play with you, but you were just being silly. Hi, Dorian. Tara says, I'm vegan because I love animals. However, I'm tired of being verbally assaulted every time I mention the word vegan. Okay, interesting. As soon as I have to explain to someone that I can't eat the kind of food that's being offered to me because I'm vegan, they start, you're going to have to continue that because I can't see the rest of that, Tara. But I want to be able to respond. And Amy went vegan in 1999 in August. That's awesome, Amy. We were in the same year. What was it like being vegan in 1999? It just was. It wasn't even a thought about how difficult it is. I was in California at the time, so I wasn't in, Iowa, right? So, different culture. But it's not like it was this amazing vegan mecca. It was more of a vegan mecca than New Jersey. So that was exciting. It was very exciting to me because it wasn't about what was available to me that made being vegan easy or not easy. It was exciting because of a whole different world of being, a whole different way of being, a whole different lens that I was looking through. And that's not about, it wasn't the vegan products. I mean, I was actually really excited about all the vegan meats because Michael's was a diner here in Berkeley at the time. It has since closed, but the children, the offspring of Michael from Michael's, it was called Michael's. Was it called Michael's? I'm blanking on the name. It was like Michael's something. Maybe someone can remind me. I think it was called Michael's. Why does it sound weird now? Because it sounds like that's a craft store. I think it was Michael's. The offspring of Michael, who had this vegetarian, it wasn't completely vegan, but it was vegetarian diner in this like old IHOP building. They're the butcher's son. So the butcher's son, they're the offspring, the brother and sister who run the butcher's son and who started it, they're the offspring of Michael. And Michael was the one who had this vegetarian diner with all these vegan meats. So I was excited about that, but I was also really excited about produce that I had never tried before. I didn't grow up in California, and I didn't grow up eating a wide variety of vegetables. Certainly fresh vegetables. I grew up eating, a lot of canned vegetables and frozen vegetables. And so what was exciting to me was just, there was a whole new world, a whole new way of living, a whole new way of seeing the world, a whole new understanding. Certainly the burden of having bore witness to suffering was overwhelming and painful, but there was nothing about being vegan that made me feel, God, really, this is really hard, this is challenging, I wish there were more choices. So for anyone today to say, like, vegan is hard or whatever, it's all about perspective. It is all about perspective. And so I loved becoming vegan in 1999, and I love being vegan in 2017. And that there are more and more products available is great, because it just makes it easier for people to either become vegan or at least eat more of those products that aren't made from animal flesh and fluids. But the bottom line is that it's about perspective. And I love being vegan, and I love it. It's as much of just an extension of who I am today as it was when I became vegan in 1999. So what's available to me matters less than the joy that I have, living this way. And that there are more people is great. I didn't bring water with me. So I probably won't be able to talk much longer. And let me see what your questions are. Sorry. Let me just read what Michael said here. Oh, Michael, thank you. Thank you. Oh, actually, I brought some gum. I'm going to put the gum back in my mouth. I'll try not to chew like crazy, but that'll help a little bit. Brandy said, for me, it was my first Christmas and my old habit of eating all the chocolate. It was a mindset, but once I got through it, it was like second nature. That's what it is. It is like second nature for sure. Yeah, it was really fun. It's closed since, but we have other places now. I don't go to Butcher's Son very often, and I do love vegan meats. My husband does too. I am not in any way someone who's all like, no, like they're, no, they're awesome because it's about texture and fat and flavor and salt, and they're fantastic. And the duck roast we had from the Butcher's Son, it was the first time we had it. That was on Thanksgiving. Our friend bought it from the Butcher's Son. Was amazing. It was amazing. So now I am not in any way a purist. I do eat whole foods as much as possible just because I really like them. I love vegetables and I love fruit. And I, didn't when I was growing up. That's the other gift about being vegan, is that it opens up a world of vegetables and grains and just plant foods. But I do love the vegan meats, and that duck was amazing. I want to go back to Butcher's Son just to get that roast duck. Artemis says, I know how angry I was in the beginning, and it took a lot of inner work to communicate that anger with love. Luckily, I didn't push folk away, but I probably came close a couple times. I love your constant intertwining of the word compassion because it gently, and I can't see the rest, but thank you. I got your gist, Artemis. And yeah, I mean, again, this is why I do what I do. This is why I'm working on the book I'm working on, because there is a sequel to the 30-Day Vegan Challenge that you've heard about in my work a lot through the podcast and through these videos. But there's a lot more to be said once you become vegan, and some of that has to do with the holding all of the anger and holding the sorrow and holding the pain of the awareness, and how to navigate that and still be in this world and still be a social creature. And that takes a decision, it takes vigilance, it takes a commitment, and it takes artistry. And that's why I talk about that a lot, because it is important. I was angry when I first became vegan. I still get angry. There is nothing wrong with anger. It compels us to do things that can be really effective and productive. It can also compel us to do things that are destructive and ineffective. So the problem isn't anger. The problem is what we do with it. But I absolutely can relate to that, and I think a lot of people can. It's why I talk about those 10 stages of what happens when you stop eating animals. One of the stages being anger, but framing it so that we understand that that anger is really about the sorrow, I think really helps a lot of people. So luckily you came through it, and it does take commitment. It does take work to decide how we want to be in this world. And I certainly made that decision, but it's as authentic for me not being, not putting anger first. As it was at the time, feeling the anger that I was feeling. But it's a decision all the time. We decide all the time who we want to be. Oh my gosh, I almost blocked Artemis. God, I hope I didn't. Artemis, if I blocked you, it was a mistake. Tell me and I'll unblock you. The tone of you saying holding just made me cry. Thank you. I didn't realize you needed to cry. I'm grateful for you. Stop it. You're going to make me cry. Okay, you're going to make me cry. Virginia says, vegan turducken for the win. Yeah, maybe it was. That's what I was joking actually at Thanksgiving, that it was a turducken, vegan turducken all the way. I know. It's okay. I'm gonna just close this up because my husband and I are gonna have some lunch together. Because then my girlfriends are coming over. We're gonna go on a hike. We're gonna gather some greens and berries, rosemary, and we're gonna make Christmas wreaths. I've never made a Christmas wreath before. I'm not a crafty person. I'm a little crafty, but not super crafty. But I had to go to like Michael's, the craft store Michael's, and get like some wreath forms because I want to make a wreath. I really want to do it. So I got some floral wire and some wreath forms, and we're going to make wreaths. I don't think, no, I think actually Christy has done it before, but I don't know if Milena has. Brandy says, for me, it was my first, oh, I got that already. The chocolate. Yes. Thank you, Greg. Awesome. Okay. Well, good. Well, thanks everybody. Thanks, Amy. You're welcome. Hi, MJ. I try to be supportive and positive for people interested in veganism. I'm seeing a lot of anger in groups. I send a lot of people your way. Thanks, MJ. I'm just shocked by what I see sometimes. I really am. I don't pay attention. I mostly hear about the anger from you all who tell me what you're seeing on other pages, and it's just shocking to me. It's just shocking. The self-righteousness and the arrogance and the utter amnesia that we too were once unaware. That's what I think the remedy is just remembering what it was like. And if you're trying to, intellectually understand why people are doing what they're doing, you're just missing so much of it. Food is such an emotional, ingrained historical component of our lives, and to think that you can just undo that by one post, and then that they're awful people if they don't make a change because of your post, is just to really misunderstand how humans work, and it's really doing yourself an injustice and the relationships that you should be cultivating a real disservice, and I think it's doing the animals a disservice. So we talked about anger. excuse me, one of my memes, one of my quotes, whatever you want to call it, one of my sentiments, one of my beliefs is that you don't have to be angry all the time to prove that you care. Just because you're not angry at all the time, it's not a demonstration that you care more than someone else. And I think there's a notion, especially in social justice circles, that people think if you're not demonstrating anger all the time, that it's an indication that you don't care enough and that you're not doing enough. Well, I don't agree. I think there's a lot more ways to indicate that you are dedicated and devoted to a cause, and you don't have to be angry all the time to prove that. In fact, I'll end with this. You don't have to prove anything being vegan. I don't have to prove anything. Being vegan is an extension of my compassion. It is the extension. Again, being vegan is just a simple way of saying I removed the compassion, the blocks to the compassion that had been inside of me all along. Being vegan is not an end in itself. It is a means to an end, and that end is unconditional compassion. I don't have to prove that being vegan, that I'm better and faster and stronger and leaner and skinnier and healthier and have clearer skin. I don't have to prove any of that to anyone. All I have to do is be the best person I can be, because it's not about me. It's about just being the best person I can be and not hurting anyone. So you don't have to prove a damn thing to anybody being vegan. I don't care what it is. All we have to do is be the best we can be. At least that's what I think being vegan is about for me, and that's why I'm about to go inside and have potato leek soup and possibly salad. My husband's making some lunch right now, and I'm gonna go on a hike, and I'm gonna put some water out for my deer, and I'm gonna go kiss my cats, and I'm gonna wish you all a wonderful, happy Saturday. Indeed, Virginia, indeed, indeed, indeed. Yeah, exactly. So keep sending people to the place of compassion, and that's all we can do. You know, all we can do is speak our truth and raise the bar and really make connections and be the model. Being the model is really goes so much farther than telling anybody what. I don't know about you, but if you tell me what to do, I'm going to turn around and run the other way. But if you are in any way exemplifying what it looks like to be a joyful, compassionate person who connects with people and attracts people rather than pushes people away and judges them, I'm going to be interested in what you have to say. So that's all we can do, is be the best people we can be and speak to the highest that's in all of us. So for the animals, thank you everyone for watching and for listening. Have a wonderful day. This is Colleen Patrick-Goudreau, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.